Hey everyone, finish watching the next episode of the Reversion series, The Spitflower. Kim is working on a model for a parade float. Rita is feeling petty and sends down putties to wreck her model. The flowers of Kim's model inspire Rita to have Finster create a new flower-themed monster that can turn flowers evil. Kim is sad her model was ruined and she can't make another one as the deadline is too close. Zordon calls the Rangers to deal with the new monster Spitflower. The monster brings to life surrounding flowers and they attack the Rangers. Rita makes Spitflower grow. Tommy is working on something in secret in Billy's garage for some reason. Zordon contacts him and he joins his team. Spitflower overwhelms the Zords and Zordon teleports the Rangers back to the command center. Bulk and Skull, meanwhile, are getting attacked by the evil flowers. The Rangers strategize. Kimberly can defeat the monster with her bow. Was Power Ranger Punks placed before this episode because they wanted episodes with Kim using her bow closer together? Kim uses her bow, but then the Rangers just form the Power Blaster. Alright. Tommy asks Alpha for help with whatever he was working on earlier. Alpha gets a glue bottle stuck to his hand. At the juice bar the next day, Kim sees the parade on TV and her float is there. It turns out what Tommy was working on was restoring Kim's model. This is a good, cozy episode. The action is fun, it's got its goofy moments, and it's got some sweet moments with Tommy and Kimberly. The reversion edits aren't anything new, just the typical random text effects and graphics. The original picture I drew for this one was Billy using binoculars to watch the parade on TV. It's a cute moment, but isn't very representative of the episode, and I didn't feel like drawing it. I wanted to draw the monster. There's a weird thing for me with this episode. For some reason, the Spitflower monster I mistake for a Zhu 2 creation, a monster made especially for Power Rangers, not from Zyuranger, the corresponding Sentai series. It isn't, and I know it isn't, but there's just something about it that feels in line with the other Zhu 2 monsters. Next up, Life's a Masquerade. While the Rangers prepare for a Halloween party, Rita is preparing Super Putty. To keep the Rangers distracted, Finster creates a Frankenstein monster. Bulk and Skull have their own plot about trying to decide which costumes to wear. Alpha comes to the party and no one suspects he's an actual robot. The Frankenstein also gets mistaken for just another guest in costume. We then see what the Super Putty is. Finster and some normal putties are in a mine gathering clay. Apparently, something makes this clay better than his usual. At the Halloween party, the Rangers wonder if the Frankenstein is Tommy. It causes a scene and runs away. Billy follows it. It leads him to the cave where Finster is mining the clay. Fortunately for Rita, Billy trips an alarm and the Frankenstein is sent to fight him before he sees what they're doing. He gets away and the Rangers go back to fight the monster. Tommy joins later and with his help they defeat it for good. At the costume party later, Tommy shows off his costume inspired by the latest monster and Alpha wins a costume party. Nothing notable with the effects here. The Dragon Zord fighting mode impaled the Frankenstein monster with a drill, and it's covered with flashes. However, like with Spidertron a few episodes ago, we still see the hole going through the monster. This is a fun, simple episode. The one thing that makes it stand out is the Super Putty plot. Mighty Morphin doesn't do ongoing, serialized stories often unless they're specifically a multi-parter. Bulk and Skull get to really show off their dynamic and we see how entertaining they can be on their own. One weird thing with this one, the monster is only meant to keep the Rangers from discovering what Rita's actually up to, not necessarily to defeat them. At the end is the typical scene of Rita lamenting that her monster lost, even though he served his primary purpose. The Frankenstein monster pops up in a future episode, but probably by mistake, a result of using stock footage. Next time, Gung Ho, an episode I recall being less than impressed by. Maybe I'll like it more this go-round. So, next up, Gung Ho. Jason and Tommy are training for an upcoming event and just can't seem to work together. Even though from what we see, they seem to be doing a pretty good job. Trini tells them they need to gung ho. She says it's Chinese for working together, but I don't know. This episode was written by Mark Hoffmeyer, and that's a pretty white-sounding name. Not to say a white guy can't know Chinese, but the generally accepted meaning of gung ho isn't brought up or explained. In North America, to be gung-ho indicates someone is motivated, not exactly working together. We get a commercial bumper previewing the Super Putties. When I was little, I found this episode unique in that there was no monster of the day, just stronger than usual putties. At the juice bar, Bulk and Skull introduce their ninjas, Jason and Tommy's competition. The ninjas display their talent in various techniques. Maybe this is where his desire to become a samurai began. Up on the moon, Rita and her minions are preparing the Super Putty, and the Frankenstein from last episode is there watching. Since there was an American recreation of the Frankenstein suit, I wonder why there wasn't some plot in this episode about him being brought back to life. In the future of Mighty Morphin, old monsters being revived for one reason or another became more common. At this point, though, maybe the crew thought it wouldn't work to bring back old monsters? Kim and Trini are ambushed by putties, and they're shocked at how strong they are. Zordon contacts the others, and they find themselves overwhelmed as well. They teleport to the command center. During this scene, I noticed Trini gets taken out for quite a bit of it, and I wonder if this was around when she had a leg injury. At some point, her actress, Twee Trang, suffered a leg injury and action scenes had to be shot around her. Jason and Tommy are sent to find new weapons to defeat the super putties. The others hold off the putties. Jason and Tommy scale a cliffside and encounter a robotic creature. It blasts them off. Jason and Tommy strategize. Tommy will distract the creature while Jason goes through and gets the weapons. Tommy gives Jason his armor, but not the armbands for some reason. Their plan works and Jason retrieves the weapons. They bring the new weapons to the others and they defeat the super putties. Zordon contacts the Rangers and informs them that the creature from earlier is Titanus and they're actually a new ally Zord. Jason and Tommy use what they've learned about Gung Ho and win their martial arts event. Oddly, most of the events are one-on-one, so they're not actually working together. This episode is kinda awkward, but fine. Was this really Titanus' first appearance? I swear he showed up somewhere else before. Jason tells Tommy he's better with a sword than him. This is especially weird considering Jason's the one who has a sword as his primary weapon. The picture I drew for this one originally was inspired by the 2010 Putty action figure. It was a pretty standard action figure but had unusually large hands. I noticed the super putties also had larger than usual hands, so I drew a putty with big hands. Gung Ho I liked a bit more than I remember. Cool. That's it for this one, hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
Putting those two together was a bad idea.